Everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Silver Savage podcast. I am recording this on Sunday, Easter Sunday. So just wanted to start by wishing all of you to celebrate a happy Easter. I know this will not drop till tomorrow, so maybe a day late. But know that I had my thoughts with you, and I sincerely hope you had a great weekend. With that said, you notice the background, it's not as fancy as our regular studio. It's also not as clean looking as my camper. But hopefully soon enough, this will become a lot better. I'm actually in my Connex. Those of you that follow my social media have seen my videos of the Bourbon and Bullshit with BK, and seen a lot of my other posts, all with a similar background. So this is my gun room, and one day maybe I'll give you a tour of it. It is a shipping container at the end of the day, and if acoustics work and Wi-Fi works, this may become a secondary location for me, just because of simplicity, right? This is like a home office, and it's when I don't make it to my actual recording studio, this may be a good fit. So hopefully this works for you guys, and I just wanted to tell you so you guys know what's going on around and why you see maybe bows hanging on the wall and backpacks and all that sort of good stuff. With that said, today I'm going to discuss a topic that I did discuss in the past. I actually made videos on YouTube as well, and I don't know why people keep asking me the same questions, but I figured because I am traveling in about 4 hours, I will be boarding a plane to Kentucky. Because I'm traveling and I've been talking about it to a few people, this keeps coming up. So I figured this may be an appropriate time to do another video about hotel safety and security. So with no further ado, let's get into the episode. All right, well, welcome back. So so hotel safety, right? I'm gonna link a YouTube video that I did in the past discussing this. So feel free to check it out. We'll give you a little bit more information, a little more visual. But today I wanna just go over all the information that I mentioned in the past and hopefully reorganize it, make it a little more concise for you so you guys can easily access it when you need it. I know a few people that I spoke to recently are traveling themselves. You're also getting into spring and summer, so a lot of people are going to be traveling more. So choosing hotels, staying at hotels becomes a concern for a lot of people. And for me, traveling a good amount out the year, this is something that I do on a regular basis. So it comes pretty natural to me at this point, but just wanted to share some of the tips that I do with you. So again, starting with the link, check that out first. And if that's not suffice, let's get into the rest of the points. So I start everything by picking the right hotel. So I know some of us have loyalty programs with different chains, and we'll try to stick to those by giving the opportunity. Do a little bit of homework in advance. If you go to a large city, there are better parts of the city and worse parts of the city. And if you're with any of the big hotel chains, being Hilton, the Marriott, one of those, then you probably can find hotels in both locations. There's typically a slight difference in price, but it's not that significant to make the staying in the bad part of town worth it. So I try to pay a few more dollars and know that I'm in a safer area where there is less criminal activity, right? Where police response is closer by, where hospitals are closer by, God forbid I need them. Amenities are a big thing, right? So restaurants, kind of Walmarts and stores, because if you forget, let's say, a charging cable, you don't want to have to step out of the hotel and go straight into a bad area of town where you can just go out across the street, go into a nice clean store, know you'll be safe on the way there, know that you'll be safe there and on the way back, right? Same thing with restaurants, right? You're staying at a place you don't know, probably a business trip or whatnot, and you want to go and have dinner, you do not want to be overly concerned about safety and security. So knowing that I'm staying at a safer part of town certainly alleviates a lot of that. A lot of our rent cars or are dependent on Ubers, but oftentimes I prefer walking. First of all, I get to know the environment a lot better, but secondly, it's just who I am, right? I'm an active individual. I like walking when I can. So knowing that I'm in a safe part of town certainly makes it a lot easier for me to do so. So do a little bit of research in advance. Make sure that you pick hotels in the safe area. I give you an example though. Today I'm flying to, as I mentioned, I'm flying for work. I'm going to be in Monroe Head, Kentucky. And I'll be honest, there's absolutely nothing in Monroe Head, Kentucky. There's maybe 2 hotels in that whole area. So my options were pretty limited. But that is the exception, right? So when I stayed the other day, we were staying in Roanoke, Virginia. We had a few more options. So we were looking to something that's closer to our destination, to where we wanted to go, right? Better part of town and so forth. So first things first, do a little bit of homework about the area and pick the area that is safer or considered. Once you picked a hotel, you want to optionally, sorry, can't speak English. You want to ideally have the option of picking the floor in which you're gonna stay. So nowadays, a lot of the apps for the bigger chains. So for example, I mentioned Hilton and Marriott because those are two that I use. Both of those have apps, and both of those allow me to check in remotely. So I already checked into my hotel, even though I'm not flying till later today. And on that check-in process, you can pick the room that you want to stay in. So that really makes it easy for me to know, okay, this is where I'm going, this is where I'm staying. Certainly make the whole check-in on arrival process a lot easier. I can also use my phone to check in. There are security issues associated with that as well, but all considered, it gives you at least the flexibility of picking which room I want to stay in. As a general rule, I try to stay away from the first floor. There's just a lot more traffic on the first floor, so at least second level or third level. I try not to go above third level for two reasons. First of all, staircase accessibility in case of an emergency. I don't want to have to run up or down stairs for multiple levels. The second thing is, God forbid there is a fire, you got to consider the fire engine and fire towers that are going to come in, and the ladders that they have. Typically, they are limited in how high they can reach. And you don't want to go too high on a hotel. I don't care how fancy hotel it is, staying on the 16th floor and then getting trapped there is no good. So second or third floor is usually ideal. I would also check which floor the gym is on. On some of the newer hotels and nicer hotels, it's actually not on the first level, it's on the second level. And I don't want to be on the same floor as the gym, again, just because of foot traffic around. So try to keep that in mind as you check in. Also, when I pick a room, I try to be close to the emergency exit, to the staircase, but not the room right next to it. So I'm 2 or 3 rooms in. So that allows me to find out real easily if I need to use it for evacuation, but it also minimizes the chances of being a target of opportunity for someone that is coming up the staircase and it's going to try to break into the first room to come across. You find the first room there, that increases the probability of me being a target. So I try to be second or third floor and 2 to 3 doors in from the emergency staircase. Again, the applications on the phones now make it a lot easier, so go ahead and use those. The next thing that people often ask is about valuables and using hotel safes. So I always tell people, try not to. The reality is that using a safe is probably better than using no safe and just leaving things laying around. But given the opportunity, bring your own safe. For me, it's pretty easy because oftentimes I travel with firearms, so I have a safe that I travel with for my firearms, and I use that to secure my belongings at the destination. Understand that someone can just take that old safe with them and then work about cracking it later down the road, right? But it certainly makes it a lot less convenient for them, a lot harder, and I can hide that old safe in my baggage somewhere in the room, right? So I'm just adding layers of complexity for someone finding it, taking it, and then breaking it. Hotel safes have the appearance of being safe, but understand that the hotel management has access to it, certain staff has access to it. They usually have an override code, right? Because in case you forget your code and you can get into your belongings, you need someone from the hotel to come and let you in. So obviously they can get into those safes. So it protects maybe against outsiders trying to break in and steal your stuff, or maybe the lower level employees who do not have access to the access code, but it's certainly not a foolproof. So given the opportunity, try to avoid using them. It is better than nothing, I suppose, but I always try to have my own safe with me. Another thing that I've been adding recently is geotags. So there's a lot of brands out there, from Tile to Apple makes their own, so does Samsung for the Android users. Gogi, I think, is the big one. There's a bunch of them out there. I'm in the process now researching, so I'll make a follow-up post on which one I recommend. None of them are perfect. Some of them are pricey. Some of them you have to be dependent on local Wi-Fi at the destination. There's one that came highly reviewed, but actually you can't find it. You're dependent on someone to scan a QR code that's on the tag and essentially contacting you. So kind of fits the purpose, right? So, but I'm a big fan of having something like that. In a prior life, when I used to do maritime security and we used to protect some vessels, we used to put a commercial grade geotagging satellite connected item in a Connex container so we can track that Connex container around the world. But obviously that's not something suitable for me taking in a suitcase. The reason I like that is obviously if you lose your suitcase, that is one element of it, so you always know where your suitcase or your luggage is. The second thing, as I said, if you have a safe and you're going to leave that in your room, that all safe can be taken. But if I leave that geotag locator in it while I'm at the destination, so I'm going to take it out of my luggage, put it in the safe, I can still find my belongings if someone tries to steal that all safe. Some safe, by the way, some gun safes, I believe one called Gunbox, has that feature built in. So certainly something worth looking into. Essentially, it's an app on your phone, and it's kind of like Friend Finder, where you can see other people's phones where they are in the world. I can do the same thing with this geotag, the geotag. So that certainly simplifies things and adds to my safety and security while the destination. So certainly take a look at that. And when I get my own, I'll make sure to make a little video and a little review and let you know which one I chose, why I chose it, and what I think of it. The next thing is using Wi-Fi. So I always have to be connected. I do a lot of work when I'm away. Also, when you're trying to do personal stuff like finding restaurants and I don't know, doing your banking and whatnot, there's an issue with hotel Wi-Fi being unsecured. Talking to a few people in the intelligence community and the special operations community, they all say don't use the hotel's Wi-Fi. I understand that simplicity typically trumps that, and most of us will end up using it. Just understand that it is not secure, and everybody that has, they don't even have to target you specifically, but they just put a scanner out and looking for open Wi-Fi's and what information they can garnish. So just keep that in mind, given the opportunity to use your own hotspot. Some phone or cell plans come with unlimited hotspot connectivity and Wi-Fi data. Others do not. So know what you have. Do your own trade-off. But again, I would be remiss if I did not mention this as a potential vulnerability. So hotel Wi-Fi's are not secure and certainly opens you up to potential issues and threats. How about using room cleaning services? A lot of hotels now, being more conscious of the environment, well, that's at least the excuse they use. I would assume it has more to do with dollars and cents and lower costs. Will tell you that if you don't want the room cleaned, they automatically do not clean it unless you specifically request it. Some will actually ask you on the check-in process if you want it and how frequent you want it. If I am not staying somewhere for a lengthy period of time, I usually try to avoid it. I tell them I don't need it. I can deal with the few towels they give me for the 2, 3, 4 nights. I certainly don't need a fresh towel every day. And that alleviates a lot of the stress associated with that. Understand that since the Mandalay Bay shooting, a lot of hotels implemented a policy about doing wellness checks. So if you have the do not disturb sign for more than a few nights, they'll still go in to check on you. That was one of the lessons learned from that incident. So somebody may still come to your room and check. So it doesn't necessarily protect you 100% from people accessing your room while you're not there, but it minimizes the frequency, how often, and who would have access to that room at that point in time. Also understand that because I can't necessarily limit who's coming into my room and how often, I can't just lock it. A lot of people have travel little webcams so they can see who's in the room. A lot of people have mobile alarms. If somebody props the door, it chimes. There's a lot of features that you can take and use. I'm old school and low tech in that sense. I like taking a picture of my room before I leave it so I know what's there and what's in what location. So if somebody went into my room and went through my stuff, I'll be able to see just by comparing 2 pictures before and after type thing. Another easy way is just taking a piece of tape and putting it across your door, typically at the top or at the bottom. So if somebody comes in, that tape is going to tear and there's no way for them to replicate it precisely to where it was, the size, the shape, and so forth. So just a piece of tape. Painter's tape works the best because it tears easily, but it also doesn't tear evenly. So it's easy for someone to fake it or try to repair it after the fact. So just a small piece of tape across the door would certainly help. Understand that you put it on the outside, not the inside, obviously. So if you put that on, right, somebody can see it in theory, but even if they try to peel it off, it's still hard for them to put it exactly where it was in the same exact. So take a little picture of it, have an understanding. Nothing is absolute, there's no 100%, but it's certainly just another layer at the end of the day. And that is it. We can discuss where to sleep inside the room, what tools to have with you if you have a gun, a flashlight, knives, and so forth, right? That's all a completely different discussion. Today we're talking strictly about choosing and keeping the environment safe, right? Self-defense in our hotel room is a different topic that we can discuss in a future podcast or video. So if you get a chance, go ahead and check our previous YouTube video. And as always, I want to say thank you again for all that follow us and submitted questions and comments. Again, some of the last few podcasts I dropped were a direct result of it, including this one. A bunch of questions that came up over the last few weeks about me traveling, and I'll stay safe while I do so. So hopefully this was helpful for you. Keep submitting questions. Let me know what you want to hear about. And until next time, stay savage.